McKissick, Kimwright, Brawley, and Tucker. In compliance with State Government Ethics Act, I remind members of the Commission of our duty to avoid conflicts of interest. Inquire at this time as to whether any member of the Commission has a known conflict with respect to the matters coming before us. All right, the record will reflect no conflicts have been identified, so we will proceed with Public Staff Item 1.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Tommy Williamson with the Public Staff Energy Division. Chair Mitchell, if it's okay, acceptable to the Commission, I will present items 1 and 2 as one item. Item 1 is an application by Duke Energy Progress for approval of an adjustment to the car rider approved in this Commission's August 18th, 2023 order in docket E2 sub 1300. And item 2 is an application by Duke Energy Carolinas for approval of an adjustment to the car rider approved in the Commission's December 15th, 2023 order in docket E7 sub 1276. The public staff has reviewed the applications and provided proposed orders. The Commission staff notified the public staff of some non-substantive changes to these proposed orders, and the public staff recommends adoption of the proposed orders as modified. Thank you.
Move approval of staff recommendation with the modifications for items number 1 and 2.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that items number 1 and 2 be approved as recommended by the public staff, subject to modifications in the order. Commissioner McKissick.
Yeah, I have no objections to what's proposed. But the thing I was curious about, you could speak to, or perhaps someone from Duke, it looks like in terms of participation, as of August 24, the actual number of people receiving benefits under the CAP program was 21,585 for DEC and 19,686 for DEP. And I guess originally it was assumed that there would probably be, or projected to be, about 60,000. So I was wondering what the thought was as to why there were so fewer people participating.
And Commissioner, this is really not so much a matter of the universe of participants that are available. It was just getting the program started. So as and Duke wants to speak to this, they can, but basically the program started January 1st this year in 2024. And so there's a ramp up to let that process work through VHHS and let them do the qualification for LIPE and SIP, and then getting that information to Duke for them to enroll participants. So really, I just look at this as, it's a 3-year pilot. So it's just sort of that growing pains at the beginning to get people into the pipeline. So I think the thought is there still will be that higher level of participation. It's just, this was the beginning of the pilot, and just getting people in, approved through DHHS and enrolled through Duke.
Got it. So really just the ramp up period, because I gather by this time next year, December 25, they're projecting 77,855 for DEC and 63,791 for DEP. Do you have any reason to believe that those projections will not be met? Or
no, but I will say, hey, this is a pilot. This is the first time going through this. The participation has been increasing as I will say there's been some not some bugs, but just things to work out through the whole administrative process of those are ironed out, and so I think participation is ramping up. And so, no, I don't have any reason to say those are not attainable, but they are projections. So, we could be higher, we could be lower.
Sure. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, any additional questions? All right, Commissioner Tucker.
Good morning, sir. Just a question. How does Duke promote this among the customers, that there's free money available to help people pay their power bill if they meet the minimum requirements from a poverty level standpoint? I mean, do they call in and say they can't pay the power bill, and then Duke says, oh, well, we can give you $42 credit? How does that work? I mean, it seems to me if there's $42 of free money would help pay for groceries or something else that a lot of people would be applying for, and you wouldn't have the even the minimum ramp up time, that it would be escalated to the numbers that Commissioner McKissick mentioned. Just, can you give me a feel for that?
Yes, sir. So currently the way the program is set up is Department of Health and Human Services. They're the organization that manages the LIPE and the SIP program. So that's for low income energy assistance program and the critical in critical infrastructure program. So those are specific federally funded programs that they administer for people that have crises for energy assistance. So those individuals can apply through their local DHHS and apply for those programs. The way we're set up now is if those, once those customers are accepted and into that and have been vetted as far as their income need through DHHS, then that information is given to Duke. So right now, Duke is not directly promoting,
Okay.
saying we have this available. So we're using DHHS to sort of be that gatekeeper of who qualifies for income. And that's what they do for LIHEAP and SIP, to make sure the people that are asking for it truly are in need and qualify for receiving those particular program funds. If they do, that's the information that's shared with Duke. Duke then takes that and enrolls those customers. So there's no interaction from Duke to go to customers to promote anything.
Okay, thank you. I just want to know how the process was for
Yes, sir.
vetting and accountability. If Duke was doing it. I see what you're saying now. Thank you, sir, for that
You're welcome.
response.
Yes.
Good morning, Commission. My name is Kathleen Richard. I'm here representing DEC and DEP in this matter. We have company representatives, Christy Walker and Kenisha Barnes, who can add a little bit more context to Mr. Williamson's statements here.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Commissioner Tucker, just as a follow-up to what Tommy has provided as it relates to the qualification and how customers enroll. Just as Tommy mentioned, these customers are really being qualified for LIHEAP and SIP, the Crisis Intervention Program and Low Income Energy Assistance Program. And because they qualify for that program, then they're auto-enrolled into the Customer Assistance Program. And one of the benefits of the auto-enrollment is that the customer doesn't have to make another application and contact us to the company. And so you had a great point of when customers are calling in, are we really marketing to them this specific program? We're not marketing them the program, but we do tell customers that there are opportunities potentially for bill pay assistance through programs like LIHEAP, SIP, and other programs. And so if they then qualify for those programs, then the information is shared with the company, and then we auto-enroll them in the customer assistance program. So just want to make sure that we do have that connection of the dots, making sure that they're aware of opportunities out there for bill pay assistance. And then if they qualify, then they would be enrolled in the customer assistance program. I think the other piece I'll share as it relates to what Mr. Williamson said about the ramp up. You have two programs here. The LIHEAP program, which customers are enrolled based on their fuel source. So in December, if you're a senior citizen, you can get enrolled if you qualify. And then from January through March. The LIHEAP is really specific from December to January. And that is when you see a lot of customers apply. But you also have the SIP program, which is around Crisis Intervention Program. And it's not specific to heating assistance. So if I am a electric heated home customer and I go in and I need assistance to pay my bill, I can get LIHEAP in the winter. But if I'm gas heated, then I'm going to get LIHEAP in the winter. But if I need other assistance, like for my electric bill, that's paid for out of the SIP program. So just wanted to kind of just elaborate a little bit more on the programs and how the auto enrollment works. And we do expect as more customers are qualified for the LIHEAP and SIP program, more customers potentially will be, of course, enrolled and qualified, auto enrolled in the CAP program. Hopefully that's helpful.
Sure, that's great information there. To just, I was just about accountability and how the flow goes. I mean, there are a lot of people, I've been on the benevolence committee and some people needed the help and some people did not. And, there's always a hustle out there. And, I just wanted to know what the process was for the vetting and the accountability. Seems like you have that in place and, Duke's administering it once they get, once this information is shared with them. So, hopefully we'll see the program grow as needed. Thank you.
Yep. And exactly for what you just said is the reason why we are leaning on DHHS to income qualify them and make sure they're qualified before we actually would enroll them in the CAP program.
Thank you. Thank you for those comments. Thank you both.
Commissioner Hughes.
I was just curious, what's the communication between Duke and customers, once they're enrolled, is it, you know, a special letter? Is it an insert in the bill? And then I'm assuming it's a separate line item on the bill. Could you just talk through, if I were a customer, what would be the kind of timeline for what I would receive and what it would say?
I'll be glad to. So when a customer goes in and they apply for LIHEAP or SIP, if that customer is qualified for LIHEAP and SIP, the company is notified in a couple different ways. If it's a customer where they get financial assistance, we have an opportunity where we can run a report that is directly tied to when the payment that DHH sends them. So we run it based on payment date, and then that's a source, and then we have another way we get information from DHHS. And Commissioner Hughes, once we run that report, it automatically goes against our billing system. And as long as everything is right, meaning it's a residential rate, the account number is correct, then they're auto-enrolled. After they're auto-enrolled, then a welcome letter is sent to them where it explains the program, it shares information about the bill credit and why they're qualified. And it also allows them, I think there's information to let them know that because they qualify for the CAP program, they're going to be referred to our low-income weatherization or EE programs. So that right there is a key part of the program. And then from there, there are communications, I think it may be at month 9 or 10, we can confirm this, where at month 9 or 10 of getting the payment, letting them know that they would have to be requalified for DHHS because it's going to expire, after month 12. So those are the communications that are sent out to customers. And then as it relates to the credit, there is a line item on the bill where they see that the $42 is because they're enrolled in the CAP program. And so they could see that that amount up to $42 that shows up on their bill for the months that they're enrolled.
Thank you for that. I mean, I assume that's a public letter, the actual welcome.
We'll be glad to share it with you.
Yeah, if you don't mind, and if it's been filed, just it might be somewhere that I missed. Just let me know.
We won't make you go looking for it. So yeah, we will be glad to file and share that with you all, the draft of the community.
Yeah, I'd be really curious just what kind of language it uses. Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right, if there are no additional questions, just a reminder, we've got a motion that's been seconded that items 1 and 2 be approved as recommended by the public staff. All in favor indicate with an eye. Is there anyone opposed? All right, that motion carries. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, public staff item 3.
Good morning, Commissioner. My name is Vivian Fang with the Public Staff Accounting Division. Item P3 is docket number E7 sub 1276. It's a petition for approval of nuclear production tax credit rider regarding flowback to ratepayers of proceeds from the sale of DEC's nuclear PTCs. As stated in the filing, DEC is flowing back 50 million credit in 2025. The rider will be effective January 1st, 2025. The public staff has reviewed filing and found that they are in compliance with the amended revenue requirement stipulation. The public staff recommends that Commission approve DEC's rider PTC and the rate as stated in the proposed order. The Commission staff has notified the public staff of some non-substantive changes to the proposed order, and the public staff recommends adoption of the proposed order as modified.
Move approval of staff recommendation with the modifications.
And I'll second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that the item be approved as recommended by the public staff with non-substantive modifications to the order. Any questions or discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none, all in favor indicate with an eye. Is there anyone opposed? All right, that motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Fong. All right, public staff item 4.
Good morning, Madam Chair and Commissioners. I'm Hemant Mehta with the Public Staff Accounting Division. Electric item P4 is docket number E22 sub 512, Dominion Energy North Carolina's application for approval to revised affiliate fuel services agreement. The public staff has reviewed the filing and recommends the Commission for the approval subject to conditions in the proposed order. The Commission staff has notified the public staff of some non-substantive changes to the proposed order, and the public staff recommends adoption of the proposed order as modified.
Move approval of staff recommendation with the non-substantive changes to the order.
And I'll second it.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that the item be approved as recommended by the public staff with the non-substantive changes to the order provided by commission staff. Commissioner Tucker.
Just one quick question. Why is it that Duke, if I understand this correctly, has a wholly owned subsidiary VPSE to calculate and consolidate its fuel procurement functions? Why was that necessary, or Duke couldn't keep up with it, or am I missing something here?
The Dominion Energy. So it's-
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So it's kind of there's a separate entity to deal with the fuel purchases and the management of those. That is the reason why it is having a separate entity for that.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. And the
Is-
company's representatives are here if you have. any
Right. Is there anyone from the company that's present? And, Ms. Kells, come on up. Any additional explanation that you could provide would be appreciated.
Good morning, Andrea Kells, appearing on behalf of Dominion today. So Commissioner, these arrangements have been in place since the late 90s. So I can't speak to why they were originally set up that way, but Dominion has been shifting all of the fuel procurement services for all of its affiliates into Dominion Energy Services, DES, which is the amendments that were made to these agreements, was to insert DES into the structure, just to keep it separate from the regulated utility. It's a little bit complicated. DES acts as agent for DE Fuel, which acts as agent for VPSE. And it's to have a different face to the market than the utility itself, and to be able to more efficiently and cost effectively procure fuel and provide other fuel procurement services to the utility.
Thank you for that explanation. Thank you, Beth.
You're welcome.
All right, any additional questions? All right, just a reminder, it's been moved and seconded that the item be approved as recommended by the public staff. All in favor indicate with an eye. Is there anyone opposed? All right, the motion carries.
Electric item P5 is docket number E22 sub 633, Dominion Energy North Carolina's application for approval to amend affiliate agreement. The public staff has reviewed the filing and recommends the commission for the approval subject to conditions in the proposed order. The commission staff has notified the public staff of some non-substantive changes to the proposed order. The public staff recommends the adoption of the proposed orders as modified.
Move approval of staff recommendation with the modifications to the order.
I'll second it.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that the item be approved as recommended by the public staff. Ms. Kells, I do have one question for you. The proposed order does state the benefits to the ratepayers that will flow from this revision, and those are plainly stated, and I understand those. But is there anything additional there? I recognize that there was another counterparty, or another party that's now out because its projects aren't moving forward. So Dominion can kind of step into the shoes and or is able to take the spot, maybe is a better way of saying it, of that party. Was there any financial savings there, direct financial savings as a result of this move up in time?
Yes, there are direct financial savings. There's not really a move up in time for Dominion. Dominion was always going to have delivery of the vessel by August 1st of 2025. So the savings for Dominion is that because of the change you mentioned, as the vessel is being constructed in Brownsville, the sea fasteners and the other equipment that needs to go on the deck in order to carry the equipment out to the CVAL site can go ahead and be put onto the vessel while it's in Brownsville, and Dominion can take delivery there. And it saves approximately a couple of weeks of paying the day rate, which is the cost to use the vessel to the utility, which is quite a lot. The actual day rate is confidential, but it adds up to quite a lot of savings for the company and its customers. So that's it. It's savings in time and money. But Dominion itself is not really starting anything any earlier. It's on the same schedule that it was going to be originally.
Okay, and so the counterparty here isn't receiving any benefit from Dominion's being willing to enter into this revision?
I'm not aware of any.
Okay, all right, that was what I was getting at. But okay, well, thank you for that additional explanation. Let me see if there are any additional questions. Commissioner Tucker.
I haven't gotten that look from the chair yet. I want to ask a couple more questions and I'll be done. This boat interests me because it's one of two or three in the world, correct? Am I correct in saying that?
That sounds right. I know
Yeah.
it's the first in the US that we just.
Yeah, and I remember reading a Wall Street Journal article that was like 350,000 a day to lease one of those Swedish, one that can put pylons in the ocean floor. What is the status of this? Their cost overruns and their date slippages as far as labor issues and those kind of things I read. What is the cost of the ship, unless it's confidential, to the ratepayers for this ship to be built? Pretty 2 or 3 year process, I think.
So the CVAL project itself is big picture on budget, on schedule. Were you referring to the cost of the ship building the vessel in Brownsville? I'm not aware of what the
Okay.
cost is for the building of the ship in Brownsville. I do know that it's on schedule in terms of being able to be delivered to Dominion on time. The cost for Dominion and its customers for this vessel is not actually the cost to construct it, because it's going to be owned by the affiliate Blue Ocean Energy Marine in conjunction with Bank of America. What Dominion Betco, the utility, and its customers are paying for is the right to use the ship under this charter party to build the CVAL project. And so it's that day rate that is the subject of this agreement. So those are the costs to Dominion's customers, is the cost to use the ship for the time period needed to install the wind turbine generators.
Okay.
Yes.
Who owns the company that is affiliated with Bank of America, the Blue Water, you just mentioned?
Subsidiary of Dominion Energy, Inc.
Okay, okay.
Right.
So they are connected, but there's no cost to the ratepayers? Is that what you're telling me?
Building the ship, that's a separate.
I understand that, but I mean, it's still Dominion and they have millions of dollars in the building of this ship and it's no cost to the ratepayers. Somebody's bonding it or financing or doing something somewhere, and the flow back, there's got to be payment to that. Where does that come from? From the usage that they charge Dominion to use the ship? Is that where it's coming from?
So I mean, that may be the case. You're getting a little bit beyond my, like, this was.
Well, I'm
all
way out of my skis, I can tell you that.
Agreement for the ship, and that was approved a couple of years ago. But that's a complex financing arrangement between Blue Ocean Energy Marine and Bank of America VA Leasing, which is a sub of Bank of America.
Well, I appreciate your explanation, but the money's got to come from somewhere. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Well, the company's customers, the cost for the vessel, for using the vessel for the time period needed to make the project is, as stated in the original application, about $240 million. But so that's the cost that there is for the use of the vessel under this agreement before you today.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, any additional questions? All right, hearing none, all in favor indicate with an eye. Is there anyone opposed? All right, that motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Kels.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Maida. All right. We will move on to public staff item 6.
Good morning, Chair Mitchell and Commissioners. My name is Jordan Nader with the Public Staff Energy Division. Item 6 is a request by Piedmont Natural Gas for approval to adjust rates under Appendix H of its tariff and service regulations effective January 1, 2025. After the public staff submitted the proposed order in this matter to the Commission, 2 additional filings were made in the docket. The proposed order has been revised to reflect those 2 filings. The revisions to the proposed order do not change the public staff's recommendations to the Commission presented in the original proposed order. The public staff has reviewed the application and information provided by Piedmont and recommends the Commission approve the proposed order as revised.
Move approval of public staff's recommendations, subject to final approval of the revisions.
I'll second that.
All right, questions or discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none, all in favor indicate with an eye. Is there anyone opposed? All right, that motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Nader. All right, public staff item 7.
Good morning, I'm Lindsay Darden with the Water, Sewer, Transportation and Telephone Division. Presenting item number 7, docket number W-354, subs 444 and 400A. Carolina Water Service, Inc. of North Carolina filed an approval request for a transfer of 27 residential customers from Carolina Water Service, Inc. to Blue Granite Water Company and a contract between Blue Granite Water Company and Carolina Water Service, Inc. The public staff has reviewed and recommends the commission approve the transfer of customers to Blue Granite and approve the affiliate intercompany agreement.
Move approval of public staff's recommendation.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded that the item be approved as recommended by the public staff. Are there questions, Commissioner Hughes?
Sorry about that. So I'm curious, if I were a customer, and am I just going to open up a bill and see a different logo, maybe a slightly different price when it goes through the regulatory accounting? But just from a customer perspective, what's going to happen for a customer? Are they receiving notices about this?
Yes.
I'm not concerned about it. I'm just really legitimately curious.
Blue Granite's affiliate with Carolina Water, North Carolina, they're filing similar documentation with the Office of Regulatory Staff with South Carolina. So it's going through their commission approval. It's currently pending their transfer and they're expected for it to come through and be approved early next year. As far as nothing's changing for the service for the customers, it's more of since these 27 customers are located in South Carolina, their bill will be from Blue Granite. Their allocated portion of the plant will be worked into their accounting with Blue Granite. So it's separating these 27 customers to be on the South Carolina side instead of the North Carolina side like they currently have been.
Okay, that's what I understood. Okay, thank you.
All right, any additional questions? Hearing none, all in favor indicate with an eye. Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Darden. All right, the commission has before us for approval our minutes from the November 25th staff conference. A motion. All right, any questions or discussion there? All in favor indicate with an eye. Is there anyone opposed? Okay, our minutes are approved. And before we adjourn, any additional business for the commission this morning? All right, seeing none, we'll be adjourned. Let's go off the record, please. Thank you very much.